Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. I'm Tina Marie J. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here on this channel, we speak about cults, leaving religion, and I share my journey as well as help people who have gone through the process of leaving a cult or leaving any religion. So I left Christianity 4 years ago, and I left the ICLC church, which stands for International Churches of Christ, because people always ask, like, what's ICLC? So that's the International Churches of Christ. I left that 5 years ago. So I started this channel probably after I left 5 years ago. So where do I start? My feelings, my thoughts, my perceptions, and who I am as a person, my identity in general is different from who I was when I was in ICLC 5 years ago. 5 years ago, like I said, I was a member for 7 years. 5 years ago, I was not in the right place when I first left that church. So when I first left the ICLC, I was dealing with a lot of fear. I was dealing not really with doubt or shame, not shame and not guilt. I didn't have any doubt, shame, guilt. I had fear, but I felt like alone is like the best way I could explain. Like I felt like I was the only one who really realized there was something wrong with the church. I felt like I was the only one who felt this way. I thought I was alone on it. I thought that there was no one. I'm sorry, guys. My mom is texting me. I thought that there was no one to really help me and relate to my issue, because I would try to tell and explain to people before I left. Even years before I even thought about leaving, I would try to tell people, I don't feel right about this. I feel like this isn't right. Or I would tell them, like, I feel like that thing that leader did was wrong, or that thing that person said was wrong. And I would try to explain how I felt. Like if I didn't want to do something, I didn't like feeling forced. But nothing I ever said went through. When I was in the ICLC, I didn't feel like I got any real legitimate help from people. I did feel like some people did help me. Yes, I did feel like some people were definitely trying to help me. I think a lot of people, most people for the most part, were trying to be there for me and help me genuinely out of the sincerity of their heart. But at the same time, I didn't feel like spiritually I was growing. I didn't feel like I was getting anywhere, and I didn't feel like I was really being helped. And the thing is that I was dealing with a lot at one time. I went through depression. My anxiety and my panic attacks were basically consistent every day, multiple times a day. I was on medication for that. Then I went to school. I was a mom. I was 23 when I joined. I had just gotten married. I was in school. I was also working as a home health aide. And so it was just like a lot was really changing in my life. I had a lot changed. I had just moved out from my house, moved in with my husband's parents. I literally moved into my husband's parents' house the same night we got married. And then like that summer, probably by like the end of that summer, me and my husband ended up becoming members. Well, he became a member of the church, and then I started joining the services, and then just for moral support for him, because I wasn't interested in that church. And then I finally decided to start doing studies. And when I first was doing the studies, at first I was just like, oh, this is cool. Like, these people really are trying to teach me and trying to help me. It's almost like a therapy session. But then I started feeling like, this is real personal. And I feel like if I express these things, I just don't want them to use it in some way against me. And that is what ended up happening. But I only felt like that at one point. Like during the studies, I didn't feel that insanely uncomfortable because I was so just like caught up in my head with these people genuinely care. They just want to help me. And this is for something good. So I was just like, it's okay. I'll let that pass. I'll let this pass. Like something would make me feel uncomfortable. And then I'd be like, well, it's okay. They're Christians and this is a church and this is what they do. And they've got the Bible in their hands, so they must know what they're doing. But that was completely false. I learned that finally later on, obviously down the line. So when I left the church in 2016, I was feeling a lot of anxiety. I was feeling a lot of fear. And I told my husband I didn't want to be there anymore. I told him I wanted to leave because I wasn't feeling comfortable. And he already was at a place where he was like seeing certain things he didn't like, and he was feeling uncomfortable about some stuff. But they took it as your husband is feeling this way because of you. It's your fault. So basically, I was basically told that it was my fault that my husband was falling away or being led astray. And I was just like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, that's what you think. I mean, he's a grown man. He has a mind of his own. But this church doesn't like to put accountability on the people that they should. A lot of times, like, the husbands aren't held accountable for certain things that they should be held accountable for. And the wife is looked at as, well, you're supposed to be his helpmate. What are you doing? You're leading him away from God. And so that's just how they see it. So I had to get past that, because they did have a breakdown session with me, because I think that they felt I was coming closer to leaving. So I had a breakdown session, but this was probably like 2 years before I actually left. I had a breakdown session. Then 2 years later, when I finally decided to leave, I don't think anyone really saw it coming, because I was kind of going along with the flow of everything. I was accepting everything. I was actually doing restoration studies when right before I decided to leave. Restoration studies seem to like have no points, no mission. There was like no point in the studies, but it was as though they were purposely trying to stall me, because I was not getting anywhere. I was doing study after study after study, praying, writing letters to apologize to people, which I'll admit I did not send those letters out because I didn't feel apologetic. They was making me go through hoops. Okay, now tomorrow you're gonna do this for homework. Today you're gonna go do this. Today you're gonna do. It was just like, okay, can we do this, right? Is there a diploma this comes with or something? I didn't know it's such a big thing to do this. So I was doing my restoration studies, and then what really got me to leave was two incidences that happened with two different women in the church. That was number one. And then number two, the second thing that got me to also help me push me out the door was when the women that I was doing my restoration studies with, one of them was actually my discipling partner and my women's group leader. And she was stalling me. I think I did about 10 studies. She told me that I was done. She told me that I didn't need to do any more. And then out of nowhere, in the middle of Bible talk group, in front of everybody, she said I wasn't ready and I still needed to do more studies. I was just like, what do you mean I'm not ready? I feel ready. I'm done. And she was just like, no, I don't think you're right with God yet. And I don't know what the hell she's talking about. But right there, it hit me. I was like, I wanted to hit her. I was like, you know what? I want to knock her out for saying that, because literally just yesterday I had a study with you and you told me I was done. Like, this is how I felt. I genuinely felt upset. I was just like, this chick has the audacity to tell me I'm not right with God. Like, who the hell she thinks she is? And I just got upset, because I felt like, you know what, I'm putting all this time and this dedication, and I felt like I really wasn't right with God, because they told me I wasn't right with God. When you hear someone say something to you over and over, after a while, you start to believe it in your head. So I just thought, okay, maybe she's right. Maybe my heart isn't right with God yet. So I need to get restored, because I missed all those Sundays. So now I need to get myself back on track. When I decided, you know what, I'm going to leave, I'm not going to do this anymore, that was scary. But it wasn't like at that very moment I said, okay, no, that's it, I'm done. I'm not being restored. Cool, I'm out. Peace. It wasn't like that. That was like the first real thing that hit me, that made me think, do I want to do this anymore? I left that year. So I basically went home. I did a bunch of research. I found articles. I found a bunch of research and found information. It was very hard for me to digest. It was a little emotional for me, because I felt like, wow, this is really screwed up. This is really screwed up. I started to learn about control and about how cults use control, and how they use all these different tactics to get to you psychologically, mess with your psyche. And it was just insane. And like, I love psychology. So to me, it was fascinating, but at the same time, the fact that I was a part of this thing, I was like, wow, this is insane. So how I felt when I left, I did not know where I was going with my life. I did not know what was to come of it. I didn't know what to expect. But at the same time, I knew I had to leave. I knew I had to continue going straight, don't turn back around. And I knew that I didn't want this anymore. And since I knew I didn't want this anymore, I knew it was time. So doing these videos on YouTube really helped me. It really helped me a lot because it helped me to understand that there are other people that are going through this. There are other people that are going through similar issues. And it really helped me to see that this is not something that just happens to me. You know, this is something that happens to other people around the world in even different cults. And even this cult all around the world, this is happening because I have talked to people who come from the ICLC and they're not even in the United States. So I learned a lot through this whole process, learning how to be able to deal with going through something that it could be traumatic for you. Some people aren't going to understand. You have to be a part of something like this to understand how it really messes up your head. You really got to be a part of it. So some people may say things like, oh, you're so dramatic. You was in a church and they're not perfect people and nobody's perfect and you just don't want to be told what to do. Well, number one, you're right. I don't want to be told what to do because I'm a grown woman. So nobody needs to be telling me what to do. Now, if I would like advice, I'll ask. If I'm given advice, I'll take it. But don't get mad when I don't take it. Like I'll listen, but don't get mad when I don't do it. So you're right. I do not like to at all be told what to do. And number two, yes, people are not perfect, but at the same time, that's not an excuse to continue what you're doing. Once you know you're doing something wrong, enough people are telling you you're doing something wrong. It's about some time like you change up things and you decide, okay, let me see, what can I do right? What can I do to change this? And they were not trying to change it. So I was ready to go. So that was 5 years ago. 5 years later now, the way I feel about this church specifically, I don't really deal with triggers anymore. I have some trigger words that still bother me. Like, I don't think I'll ever like the word encouragement or encouraged unless I'm using it in a certain way. Encouragement, that word actually doesn't bother me as much. But encourage, that's the word that I do not like because they were always using it. So it doesn't trigger me the way it used to. It's not like if I hear the word encourage, I'm like, ugh. It's not like that. It's just like I just don't like the word. Like you will never really hear me say, oh, I'm so encouraged. Like I hate that. I'm sorry. I almost had a moment. Hate that word. I don't know. It's weird. It's like, it doesn't bother me anymore. But that word just like, ugh. I just felt like every time people would use the word, it just sounds so phony. It's like, what are you encouraged by? Like someone be like, oh, I'm so excited. I just won this raffle. Oh, wow, I'm so encouraged, sister. Encouraged about what? She won something. Just say, oh, that's great. I'm excited for you. Like, that's it, But anyway, let's see what else. So I can talk freely about the church and I don't feel any crazy way. I don't feel angry. I used to have a lot of anger towards the church when I had left. Even while I was doing the videos, I had anger because obviously if you go through something, you still are dealing with it in some sort of way. And even through your process of healing, you're dealing with the situation. So it's still in there. So you're going to feel at times some effects of different emotions. You're going to feel a little bit of anger. You might feel some resentment. You might have bitterness, which a lot of people have bitterness and that lasts a long time. Because I know that there's people that have left the church years ago and they still have bitterness. But I don't like to have resentment or bitterness linger for long for me. I don't like to have bitterness at all because that really affects you. So holding on to it, it's not hurting them or anybody else. Like they don't even know and they don't even care. But you, it's affecting. All these different things we go through manifest in our body in so many ways. It just manifests in our lives in so many ways. So you want to be really careful with being bitter, being resentful, holding on to anger, holding on to grudge, holding on to hate. Now, a lot of people would get confused and think, well, you talk about the ICLC, so you must be bitter. You must still be holding on to it. No, I talk about the ICLC because it's what people want to hear me talk about, because it's what their experience is, and because not that many people speak so extensively on it. I'm not trying to put myself like I'm the best. No, there are great videos on this platform with people who've been through this specific church, who's been through this like through this type of situation with a specific church. But I understand that people are going through it, and once they see that there's someone who's went through it and has a lot to say on it, you're going to want to keep listening. And I mean, obviously I do the same thing, you know. So for me, it was always healing to talk about it. So it wasn't like I was talking about it because, oh, I can't let it go. I was talking about it because I'm always getting people talking to me about it. So I would make videos about it. And I love knowing that there are people who are seeing my channel, and that they could just see my channel and then see multiple videos and binge watch if they wanted to. Anything that's going to help people and get the information out has always been the most important thing to me. I have very thick skin. I'm not somebody who can easily be persuaded or easily be swayed or easily just be knocked over just because someone's not happy with something. To me, that's a you problem. If I'm doing something wrong, or if I'm in the wrong in any way, then we address that. But when it comes to things like this, I feel like this church is a big bully, and they bully people. So I don't like bullies in general. It doesn't matter who it is. I will stand up for people. So that's just my personality. I've always been this way. But when you want to heal from something, there's so many ways you can heal. And for me, healing was through making videos and helping other people, taking the focus and attention off of me and focusing on other people dealing with it too, and helping them in the most honest, sincere, genuine way I possibly can was very healing, and always will be very healing for me. That's basically my thoughts on it now, the way I feel now, about compared to how I felt before about the ICOC. I disagree with them still? Yes. Do I still feel the same way about like how I felt about them before, where I felt like this is not a good church to be in? Yes, I still feel that way. I'm matching my energy with the same energy I had 5 years ago, except the only difference is I've learned, I've grown from it. I don't have any anger towards it. I could walk past someone who's from my church, most likely won't say hi to them. If there's someone that, stop talking to me, not because of oh, I'm bitter, but because I don't know you anymore. When you're walking in the street, do you always say hi to a stranger? Or maybe where you guys live, I'm used to just walking past people. It's a city, you just walk past people. But I'll say hi, but I won't feel the need to have to say hi, and I won't feel the need to have to run away to avoid saying hi. If I don't want to say hi to that person, and I want to walk past them like I never saw them in my life, I will do so. But I don't have any ill feelings towards any of the people that I was in the church with. A lot of people I actually was in the church with ended up leaving too. Some people that was in the church speak to me now, and it's some people I didn't even really like that, because of they were so like into it, their mentality, it was like affecting me and how I felt about the church too. And now some of those people watch my videos. So it's kind of interesting how things could really turn around. You never know. Like, your voice is very powerful. Never try to hide it from nobody. Never try to lower yourself or diminish yourself to make other people comfortable, because people are going to be uncomfortable no matter what. I'm going to keep talking about cults. I'm going to keep sharing my thoughts, my feelings, and my journey, and hoping that I can help other people with whatever they're going through. Would I ever care to visit that church? Why? I wouldn't have no reason to. I would never tell anyone not to join, and I will also never tell anyone to join, obviously. But if someone asks me my thoughts on the church, or someone asks me like what's my opinions, or like what's your suggestions, or based on my personal experience, I'm definitely going to share it, and I'll be very honest and very vocal. But I am never going to ever try to tell anyone they should or shouldn't, and I will never judge anyone for attending this church. I do know there are people who do have good experiences, positive experiences, as they say. I do know that there are people who have not experienced the things I've experienced, as they say. But a majority of the people have experienced these things, and majority of the people are not happy in this church. And there are a lot of people who are unhappy in this church, and they're quiet about it. They don't speak on it. They don't vocalize on it. It's not easy to, especially when you think you're the only one and you're like, wow, so I'm the only one who feels this way. It's not easy to really vocalize on certain things. I was very afraid of being vocal too, but it's so hard for me to keep my mouth shut. Like, I'm just so expressive. It's so hard for me to keep my mouth shut. It's so hard for me to try to fake being happy somewhere or try to pretend like something's not bothering me, especially if it's something I feel is wrong and you're doing it to somebody else, especially, like, it's hard for me to pretend like I'm okay or cool with it. So I felt a lot of relief knowing I didn't have to deal with that anymore. But honestly, I'm just going to tell you guys, if you're watching this and you are still dealing with the effects after you've left, I don't want to say, oh, let it go, because you can't let it go, but you can let it go. You just can't let it go. You will never forget what you experienced, and you will also never be the exact same person you were at that time, especially if you were there for a long time. But that's not a bad thing. I've changed in ways that I am very grateful for. I have expanded my mind. I've completely expanded my thinking. So therefore, I feel like my horizons have expanded. I left Christianity a year after leaving the church, but people like to contribute that to the church, and it has nothing to do with the church. I could have easily went somewhere else. I just didn't want to. I left because I personally, Tina Marie J, didn't believe, and Tina Marie J finally was in a place where she could go and research without feeling guilty and learn about different things. And I happen to like it. Plus, I've always been a curious person since I was young. I've always had a very curious mind. So for me to stick to one thing and keep that box and be like, boom, this is it, is very difficult for me, because I like a lot of things. And I'm also very open to a lot of things. Not open as in I'm going to do everything that I learn about or join every organization or every religion. I'm not like that. But I like to learn about it, because when we learn about something, we're learning about other people. We're learning about other ways of life. So you want to learn about these things. You want to learn about different people. You want to learn about different cultures. You don't want to stay stuck, because honestly, this world is filled with more than just the people you see every day. It's filled with so much more than the people that are currently in your life. So you want to be open to meeting different souls, because we're all in this world together. And yes, we may not all agree all the time. We may not all have the same opinions all the time, and that's totally fine. But in my opinion, I feel that if we could learn to just get along together and not feel the need to have to push or force someone to like something, to join something, to be a part of something, to read the Bible, to be a part of a faith, we need to let people just be, and let people be who they are and learn who they are. And when I left the ICLC, I was able to just be and learn who I really am, because I didn't have anyone there trying to tell me who I was. I didn't have anyone there. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my Citizen app, and they're making home health workers are mandated in New York now to get the injectable. I'm sorry, my thing is shaking. I didn't have, what was I saying? Shoot, now I don't even remember. I got distracted in my phone. Sorry. I always look at my phone and notification. I get that Citizen app. I always look to see what's going on around here. But if you don't have the Citizen app, you should download it, because it tells you whatever's happening in your area, including all the stuff that's going on with the, this thing that's going on right now in the world. But I completely lost track of what I was saying before, but let me just get on to a different track. Yes, that's all I was saying. Learning new people, learning new things. I don't have any issue against people who go to church. I don't have any issue against religion at all. My only issue is those who think that it's okay to push and force what they believe in onto somebody else. And that's what I didn't like about this church. They don't just force and push you to believe in their way with the Bible and their doctrine, but also other things. Like, there wasn't any freedom to just make friends that you want to make. There wasn't any freedom to date who you want to date. So I personally don't feel that that's normal. To me, that's abnormal. That crap is not normal. You should not be told in the church who you should marry, date, if you should go visit your family or not, because it's a Sunday. It's nobody's business. That's not anyone's business. I feel that church can be good for people, for the community of it, but at the same time, it could be destructive. And a lot of churches take things too far. And so I felt with this church, things were taken way too far. I still feel that way. What I think, my opinion personally, not that too many people care about my opinion, but I care about my opinion, is that I feel that the ICLC needs to start listening to these videos, and they need to start listening to other people's videos, because it will be very easy for them to pinpoint and find what can we do different so that we don't have this issue of people leaving or people dealing with what they're dealing with when they do leave, feeling like they're not good enough for God, or feeling like they are not lovable, they're not loved, feeling guilty, feeling shamed when they're in the church. Like, what can we do different? I don't really understand what's the problem, to be honest with you. I don't understand why it's so hard for this church to just do stuff different. They claim they did start changing and doing things different after the Kit McKean letter came out, but it was like minimal changes, because as you can see, there's still a lot going on in this church everywhere. So I don't really understand what the hell is the holdup. Like, just change already. That's the only frustration I still have with the church, is the fact that they have never, and probably never will ever change, and that they do things, and instead of taking accountability and saying, you know what, we're looking at all these accounts of people who have these claims of what's happened with them, but it's all consistent. So it's not like just one or two people got some information up. No, there's articles, you've got letters, you got people in the church complain, you got people on YouTube complain, you got people are making organizations off of this. I mean, there are people who are getting counseling because of this church. So that is not normal. So I feel that if the ICLC were to decide to finally make a change and really look at the information being given, instead of taking it personal and taking it as, oh, they're trying to attack us because the Bible says, no one's trying to attack you. You people are attacking other people spiritually with the things that you do. All you got to do is change it. It's not a big deal. If you need help, call me. Hit me up. I'll come help you people. I don't understand. Like, that's the only frustration that I get to that level, because I don't understand why it has to be such a thing. But at the same time, I am just a person with a voice, and I can only do so much with that. So I am proud of whatever help I have been able to give. I'm proud of those who have been helped, those who hit me up, you guys who comment and watch the videos. I'm proud of you guys, because you're growing, you're healing. And I know it may not look like it and it may not feel like it, but trust me, you are. In the middle of me healing, I did not realize I was healing. While I was healing from the ICLC, I did not realize I was going through healing at the time. And it was very, very, very beneficial and helpful for me to see who I was then and who I was becoming. And now I see who I am now from who I was then, and who I'm still becoming, and what I'm still learning about myself. And I mean, honestly, I don't have any regrets at all. I'll even say I don't even regret joining that church, only because of the fact that, number one, I don't really believe in having regrets. I feel like even things that don't go so well, like even things that are not very fortunate, mishappenings or traumatic things that happen, even if you couldn't have any control over it, it helps us. Like, I feel like it builds us into who we need to become, and it makes you a stronger person. So no, I don't regret it, because it helped me, and it helped me to be able to help other people. The fact that it was me that it happened to, and I'm someone that just so happens to like to put out my thoughts and opinion, and I'm someone that just so happens to like helping people all the time. I'm someone that just so happens to want to express how I feel with certain things, and I've got this activist thing going on. Like, that's just me. And I feel like sometimes, you gotta have a lot of confidence in yourself. You have to know what you're good at, and you have to know what you can do. And just because it might be harder for someone else to express himself or to make a video or put themselves out there doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at all. It doesn't mean that I'm better than them. It just means that that's something that is not easy for them to do. But there's always someone that can do it, and that person can help you in your situation, and then you pass it forward. There are people that have helped me in my life in so many ways, and they've done things to help me. Not to help me, but and things that have helped me that I'm just like, wow, I couldn't see myself doing that. Like, you're brave for doing that. I couldn't see myself doing that. So there's always something, everyone has a role in this, in this life. Everyone has a role on this earth, where we're all here to help each other in different areas. There's different areas of weakness, and then there's different areas of strength. And that's all I'm here for. And that's all you really have to do, is learn how to take your pain and turn it into strength, and learn how to take your challenges and the things you've gone through and turn that into strength. And then you go back, take your insecurities, your traumas, things you've been running from, and then you turn that into strength, and you just keep pulling into strength. Take it, turn it into strength. You keep doing that over and over. It becomes so normal for you that it's not habit, but it's like you automatically do it without realizing. You subconsciously start doing it, and you're not really aware that you're doing it after a while. And that is what healing is. Healing is taking everything you've gone through and your pain, and you turn it into the strength. And that is healing. And healing doesn't always feel like healing. But when you finally realize, like, wait, I think I've healed, you're going to see the huge difference. And anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. So that is all I have for you guys today. That is basically my thoughts then, my thoughts now, how I felt then, how I feel now. Would I change anything? No, I would not. I mean, if I could go back, I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't have joined, but I don't sit with regret neither. So I hope that that's helped any of you out there who may be dealing with feelings of any kind of feelings of regret, any kind of feeling of shame, or any kind of feeling of this loneliness, this despair, feeling like no one gets me, no one understands, I'm the only one that feels this way, or this is all my fault, or maybe it's me, maybe it's all in my head. I hope that this helps those of you, all right? Because honestly, you can definitely get through this. Now, listen, guys, I do one-on-one private coaching as well for anybody who has either left a cult or who has left religion. So if you're interested, then make sure that you get in contact with me. My contact information is below in the description box, but I also have my Instagram here on the screen. So your first 30-minute consultation with me is free, completely free. So during that 30 minutes, like, you'll just tell me what your situation is, and then I'll be able to put the pieces together and see if we were to work together, what areas will we have to work on? So that's basically what that's about. So like I said, my Instagram, you can send me an email. I've also got Facebook. Make sure you're following me there on my Instagram. Also, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know how you feel. Let me know what you've gone through. I like to know what you guys personally have gone through. It gives me ideas of what type of content to put out. Also gives me ideas of what other ways I can help people. It helps refresh my memory on certain things too, because it's kind of been a long time since that experience. So some of that stuff in my experience, I don't remember, but you guys always refresh my memory. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. All right, so make sure that you do leave me a comment and let me know if there's a video you would like to hear, and if you know anyone who might need any kind of help and they're a member, or if you have a family member who is in the church and you're watching me because you're trying to get more information, then definitely share if you feel like you can share it with that individual, because a lot of people who are very brainwashed in cults is very different. Some people are willing to hear information, then there are people who like taboo, like nope, and then it only makes them worse. So make sure that they are prepared to watch this channel before you give it to them. And also make sure that you subscribe, okay? So subscribe to my channel. You could press the bell. When you press the bell, set it to all. That way YouTube's gonna notify you every time I drop a video. All right, guys. So I hope that you enjoyed. I hope this has helped in any way possible. I definitely appreciate you guys. I appreciate you for watching my channel. I appreciate you for being here. I love you guys all so much, and I will see you in the next video. Enjoy your weekend.